A superpower standoff, the United States and China on edge. Two superpowers, the United States and China, are locked in a rivalry reshaping the geopolitical landscape, influencing global politics and economies. The United States seeks to maintain its global leadership and contain China's rise, asserting its influence through strategic alliances and military presence. China aims to reclaim its historical position as a leading world power, leveraging its economic growth and military advancements. This rivalry manifests in trade wars, technological competition, and military tensions, especially in the Indo-Pacific, a region of critical strategic importance. The South China Sea, a vital waterway for global trade, has become a flashpoint, with both nations asserting their dominance. Amidst this backdrop, Tindal Air Base in northern Australia has gained strategic importance, serving as a key location for U.S. military operations. Once a sleepy airfield, Tindal is now a hub for U.S. military operations in the Indo-Pacific, reflecting the shifting dynamics of power. The expansion of Tindal underscores the U.S. determination to counter China's rise, highlighting the ongoing strategic competition. As the U.S. and China continue on their collision course, the world watches with bated breath, anticipating the next move in this high-stakes geopolitical chess game. Forged in War, the enduring United States-Australia alliance. The roots of the U.S.-Australia alliance run deep, forged in World War II. Australia faced a direct threat from Imperial Japan and turned to the U.S. for support. The U.S. responded with a massive deployment of troops and resources. American and Australian soldiers fought side by side, forging an unbreakable bond. The Battle of the Coral Sea halted Japan's advance towards Australia. Post-World War II, the U.S. and Australia formalized their partnership through the U.S. Treaty. This treaty commits the signatories to mutual defense in the event of an attack. Throughout the Cold War, the alliance played a vital role in containing communist expansion. The alliance facilitated intelligence sharing and joint military exercises, enhancing readiness. Tindal Air Base, a strategic anchor in a turbulent region. Tindal Air Base, located in Australia's Northern Territory, is a strategic asset. Its prime location offers strategic reach across Southeast Asia and the South China Sea. Tindal has transformed into a key hub for U.S. air power projection in the Indo-Pacific. Millions have been invested in upgrading the base's infrastructure. The centerpiece of Tindal's transformation is its ability to host U.S. B-52 bombers. These bombers symbolize American military might and commitment to the region. The expansion of Tindal has sparked controversy, with concerns about Australia's vulnerability. Critics also worry about the environmental impact of increased military activity. The Australian government maintains that the upgrades are essential for regional stability. Projecting Power America's Arc of Defense in the Indo-Pacific, a strategic initiative designed to ensure stability and security in a region of growing importance. Tindal Air Base is part of America's broader military posture in the Indo-Pacific, serving as a critical hub for operations and logistics. Central to this posture is an arc of defense, a chain of alliances from Japan to Australia, forming a robust network of military cooperation. This arc aims to contain China's influence and maintain freedom of navigation, ensuring that vital sea lanes remain open and secure. Australia plays a crucial role in this strategy with its strategic location and capabilities, acting as a forward base for operations. Australia provides the U.S. with access to critical basing facilities and intelligence sharing, enhancing the overall effectiveness of the defense arc. The arc of defense also includes diplomatic engagement and economic cooperation, fostering stronger ties and mutual benefits. The U.S. is strengthening alliances with Japan, South Korea, and other regional partners through joint exercises and strategic collaborations. The effectiveness of this strategy depends on the commitment of the U.S. and its allies, requiring continuous cooperation and shared objectives. The outcome of this competition will have profound implications for the Indo-Pacific, shaping the future balance of power in the region. The price of partnership, economic and diplomatic stakes at Tindal. The expansion of Tindal Air Base carries significant economic and diplomatic implications. The investment has boosted the local economy in Australia's Northern Territory. However, the increased U.S. military presence raises concerns about Australia's autonomy. Critics argue it makes Australia overly reliant on the U.S. for security. The expansion has strained Australia's relationship with China, its largest trading partner. China views the base as a threat and has imposed tariffs on Australian exports. Australia values its alliance with the U.S., but cannot afford to jeopardize its economic ties with China. Balancing these competing interests is a delicate challenge for Australian policymakers. The situation at Tindal highlights the complexities of the U.S.-China rivalry. A nation-divided Australia grapples with the risks of alignment. The growing U.S. military presence at Tindal has ignited a debate within Australia. Public opinion is divided on the benefits and risks of close alignment with the U.S. Some Australians welcome the enhanced security cooperation as a deterrent against China. Others express unease about the potential for Australia to be drawn into a conflict. Proponents argue that the U.S. remains Australia's most important security partner. Opponents counter that the U.S. presence makes Australia a target in a conflict with China. They advocate for a more independent foreign policy. The debate reflects a broader conversation about Australia's strategic priorities. As the U.S.-China rivalry intensifies, Australia faces difficult choices. China's rise, military expansion, and the quest for regional dominance. China's military modernization has transformed its armed forces into a technologically advanced power, capable of projecting strength far beyond its borders. This buildup is evident in the naval realm, with a focus on challenging U.S. naval dominance and securing vital maritime routes. China has launched new warships including aircraft carriers and submarines, enhancing its blue water navy capabilities. China's military modernization aims to safeguard its economic interests, assert territorial claims, and ensure the security of its expanding economic zones. Its ambition to supplant the U.S. as the dominant power in the Indo-Pacific has alarmed Washington and its allies. China's growing military might has shifted the balance of power in the region, prompting a strategic recalibration. The U.S. has responded by bolstering its military presence and strengthening alliances with regional partners. The expansion of Tindal Air Base in Australia is part of this broader effort to counter China's rise and maintain regional stability. The U.S. and its allies are developing new strategies and enhancing military cooperation to address China's growing influence and ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific. A new Cold War? The deepening rivalry between Washington and Beijing? The U.S.-China rivalry is more complex and multifaceted than the Cold War. It encompasses trade, technology, human rights, and geopolitics. The U.S. is wary of China's growing economic and military might. China believes its rise is part of a natural historical cycle. This rivalry has led to trade wars, sanctions, and military exercises. Cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns are also part of this competition. Unlike the Cold War, the U.S. and China are deeply economically interdependent. This interdependence creates both opportunities and constraints. The rivalry's outcome will shape the future of global governance. On the brink, potential flashpoints and the specter of conflict. The U.S.-China rivalry increases the risk of miscalculation and unintended escalation. The South China Sea is a dangerous flashpoint with China's territorial claims and military buildup. The U.S. conducts freedom of navigation operations, raising tensions. Taiwan is another potential flashpoint, with China vowing to reunify it by force if necessary. Cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns are growing concerns. Both the U.S. and China accuse each other of cyber espionage. While neither seeks direct confrontation, the risk of escalation is real. A minor incident could spiral out of control, driven by national pride or political considerations. Managing these flashpoints is crucial to preventing conflict. A world on edge. The global consequences of U.S.-China tensions. The U.S.-China rivalry has profound implications for the international order. The world is shifting towards a more multipolar system with greater competition. The rivalry has fragmented the global trading system, threatening economic growth. It has hampered international cooperation on climate change, pandemics, and nuclear proliferation. The U.S. and China struggle to find common ground on climate action. The rivalry has emboldened authoritarian regimes and undermined democracy. Both countries prioritize strategic interests over democratic values. The world is entering a period of uncertainty and instability. The U.S.-China rivalry is reshaping the global landscape. Navigating the unknown towards a more stable future. The U.S.-China rivalry poses a challenge to global stability and prosperity. Managing this rivalry requires diplomacy, strategic restraint, and finding common ground. Both countries have a shared interest in avoiding catastrophic war. Nuclear weapons raise the stakes of any conflict to an unacceptable level. Dialogue and diplomacy are essential to managing differences and preventing escalation. Economic interdependence provides an incentive for cooperation. The U.S. and China should stabilize their economic relationship and cooperate on global issues. The international community must play a role in mitigating the risks of this rivalry. By embracing diplomacy and restraint, it is possible to build a more stable future.